Yo, what up, boxing fans? Got my boy Real Talk. We about to talk some Real Talk boxing. I'm gonna let him go ahead and introduce himself. What up, Real Talk?
What's going on? Yeah, man. Haven't put up any videos lately, but most of the boxing fans know who I am. I mean, I do.
Yeah. One thing about it, I enjoy your channel, bro, cause you drop that real talk. You don't be holding back, and that's what we gonna get into. So bring that heat, bro. We gonna talk about the Thurman-Porter fight. Man, it was a good epic fight. What was your thoughts on that fight? I had it a draw. A lot of people say Porter won. I'm hearing some people say Thurman won the fight. What's your thoughts on it, bro?
I mean, you might as well call it a draw because, to me, both guys. You know, I guess Keith Thurman done what he could do, you know, to scrape away the victory. But I don't think both guys was that dominant over the other guy. You know, Porter probably was effective and with certain punches, but you know, this is what kills me is I go on YouTube and I see these videos up where these people are bashing Porter because of his style. They're calling him a wild caveman and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but it's effective for him though. It works for him.
Yeah, and what makes me mad is it's like you know, the guy's coming in there, he's fighting with balls, you know, he's coming in aggressive or whatever, and you know, you have another guy who's moving away, and you know, in some situations running away. So, I mean, why are you going to criticize this guy? And see, this is what makes me mad because a lot of people always target certain people and say, well, they just hating on this guy because he's a slick fighter. Yeah. You know, and you know he has that black style, that slick fighting style, and it's like then when Porter gets in there, and I'm like, man, Porter did it. You know what I'm saying? He came with it, he brought it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh well, Porter. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, man, it's the styles that people like, man. It's like I like a guy with some aggression in his fight game, and if he's a black guy or a white guy, it don't really matter because for me, you know, like that's why I like Earl Spence, man. And for me, it's the style. You know what I mean?
One thing about that fight, it's about which style you prefer. Porter, he did a lot of good work to the body, and Keith Thurman had a lot of good counterpunching, great counterpunching. So if you favor counterpunching, you probably thought you probably thought Keith Thurman won the fight. If you like body work, you probably thought Sean Porter won the fight. So the fight was so close of a fight to. It just depends on what style you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I think people get really pissed off, man, more about the styles that they like, man. I think people get really upset when their style don't win. You know,
That's what it is.
Yeah. Put so much emphasis on race, but I really think deep down inside, man, it's that people like their particular style and they get pissed off. It's more like the bully versus the defender.
Exactly.
You know, they might have got bullied in school or something. And now they don't like aggressive fighters. They're like, oh yeah, no, beat the bully. You know what I mean? Like it's more of that going along than anything. And I mean, certain different races do, like Mexican and you know European, Mexican. They all have different styles. So that's how people get stereotyped. But you know, look, Sean Porter has an aggressive style, and you know he's a black fighter with an aggressive style. And I mean. The only knock on Sean Porter I can say is that, you know, he's still like
wild and reckless. I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but I mean those punches. Who's to say they ain't effective? Man, a lot of people were saying his punches wasn't effective. You know, and
I thought that body work was getting to Keith. If you look at one of them post-fight pictures, man, his body was all tore up. He had a lot of marks on him.
Oh. That's one of the things I want to get to. One of the things I want to get to is Keith Thurman. He's become a little feeble guy. He's become a complainer, a constant fucking complainer, dude. I used to like Keith Thurman, and now I'm like, dude, the guy starting to sound like Mayweather to me with the complaining and shit. Like, You show a picture on social media of your back being beat up. Like, dude, you got your ass whooped. I mean,
Yeah, that did look kind of suspect. I'm like, you in the war, man. What you expect to happen? You fighting in the war and you showing pictures of your back, man. Come on. I hear you on that.
It's one thing if a guy's rabbit punching you or something. I mean, maybe you know, hitting you behind your head or something. You know, doing something that's really gonna like disable you. You know what I mean? Like, or could cause you some serious harm, or throwing very low punches or something. But man, I mean, like, he just throwing hooks around your body. You know what I mean? Like, and they come around. So I mean, like, to show that on social media, it doesn't help your stock. It makes you look like...
Make you look weak, man, and
feeble.
Yeah. And you know why Porter kept going to the body? Keith got that weak-ass body. He a weak-body motherfucker. And he caught him out, I think it was the 7th round. He caught Keith in his body. Keith's ass was hurt. He felt that body shot. His ass was running for his dear life. Like he was in that Collazo fight. But he wasn't hurt as bad, though, I don't think. But he felt it.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be showing no pictures, man, and no scratches. And you fighting in the war against an aggressive fighter, and you showing pictures of your back scraped up. Come on, man. Looking real suspect. But I knew you was going to call that out. See, that's why they nicknamed you Real Talk. You don't miss none of that. You keep it real.
I mean, a lot of channels don't like to, they don't like to fuck with me, man, like do stuff. Like, I'm glad you got me on, because a lot of channels, like, they scared that I'm going to expose certain things, kind of like the Earl Spence thing. Now, with the Earl Spence thing, that I actually like Earl Spence, and I have no problems if he showed up positive. You got to understand, I don't have a problem with steroids in sports. And I don't care if it's fight sports, because there's this big misconception about steroids could kill somebody. Like, dude, you name me one fucking time where a guy was on steroids and he killed somebody else. There's been plenty of guys on steroids. This shit don't happen.
And I want to tell you, with the Errol Spence video, man, you sent shockwaves through the whole boxing community when you dropped that Errol Spence steroid video. Now, personally, I didn't agree, but hey, it's your opinion, man. You had Boxing Ego. He got about 20-some thousand subs. He was even talking about it. So, man, everybody heard that video. But what's your thoughts on, you still think he on steroids? What's your thought on it?
I mean, I never said that for a fact he was on steroids. I just said
because of the gynecomastia.
Yeah, I just said if the guy shows up positive for a steroid test, then you know what I mean. You know why? You know what I mean? Like,
so they kind of took your words out of context, really, right?
Yeah, I was just trying to bring it to the community that this guy could possibly be on something, and we have accused other fighters of the same thing based on the physical appearance of the fighter, the nipple, you know what I mean, and stuff like that before. And and the fact is that I don't have a problem with these fighters doing whatever they got to do. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but it's my opinion that you're not gonna catch everybody. You're just not going to.
Especially with USADA. We know USADA ain't catching nobody. And if they do catch anybody, they gon' hide that shit, sweep it under the rug.
And if you add in the politics of the situation, and you add in guys who can control, certain things in boxing, like Mayweather, who you know what I'm saying, basically has a lot of pull when it comes to anything. Guys get away with shit. So that being said, it's unfair to certain guys that, you know what I'm saying, like, they get away with it and then some people don't. Like,
exactly.
Mayweather, you know damn well Mayweather has done some shady ass shit.
Exactly. I was just about to say, let's say USADA would have caught both of us with an IV in our arm. You think they would have gave us a therapeutic use exemption? Me and you? Hell nah. They would have wrote that shit up and they would have reported it. They waited 3 weeks to get this dude a therapeutic use exemption because he Floyd Mayweather. See, you got to have that kind of pull. If you ain't got that kind of pull.
Let me ask you a question. These drug agencies, who are they hired by?
I think they work for the fighters and the promoters.
Okay, so who are the promoters? Who are they answering
We
to?
know Al Heyman. We know Al Heyman got USADA.
So this is just so basically this is just in negotiations of the fight.
Yeah.
See, that's why it's such bullshit, man. It's all politics. It's all about the money. At the end of the day, people put so much stock on these drug testing agencies, and it's all about the money. You know what I mean? And the person who's the highest bidder, you know, they liable to favor them. You know what I'm saying?
It's about that big bank. The biggest bank gonna win at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's too much. Until you can actually get the sanctioning bodies to have some kind of standardized testing.
Exactly.
Until you get them in there, and then there's no guarantee that these sanctioning bodies, they're crooked as hell too. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like,
WBO, IBF, crooked motherfuckers, man. You ain't lying.
I mean,
speaking of stuff, go ahead.
I think something like like the UFC, where it's one promotional situation. I mean, that's a little bit better, but then at the same time, like I said, they're always going to favor certain fighters and like give certain fighters a pass. And then other fighters are going to get shafted. I mean, look at Nick Diaz, who got suspended for marijuana. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, yeah, man.
So,
Won't even let the man smoke a little bit on his free time. But speaking of steroids, what you think about this Alexander Povetkin situation, man?
I don't know. I think people just making too much out of it, man. It wasn't even an anabolic. It wasn't even an anabolic steroid.
It was legal at one point. You got a man who tested 1 microgram in his system of a drug that was legal. I can see if the drug was illegal, but that was a legal drug.
What is the name of that drug?
Maldonium.
How you spell it?
I don't know the exact spell. I gotta look it up, but I think it's MEL. I looked that shit up. I don't know how to spell these drugs, but
I found it. Hold on. I'm about to tell you exactly what it is.
I'm like, that's a legal drug. The man got a trace of 1 microgram in his system.
Yeah, obviously, yes, for coronary artery disease.
I'm like, what are we arguing about here? You got 1 trace, 1 microgram of a drug that was legal in your system? And we arguing over this shit? Come on, man. They should have let that fight went on. It was ridiculous the way that went down. Just my opinion. But you trying to read up?
Well, like I said. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, man, with this steroid type stuff, man, you just never gonna know. And this is what makes me mad. I mean, they let people take whatever, like creatine, or I mean, you don't know if a person's taking creatine or L-arginine or whatever, all these other supplements they have. I mean, and that's okay. Caffeine, like, I mean, you could take that during your training camp. I mean, just all these different supplements. Unless you know both fighters are doing the exact same diet with the exact same supplement routine, like, how do you know if another person has a fair advantage? If a person's taking creatine, I can tell you right now, as a bodybuilder, that is going to give you a substantial amount of advantage over someone who's just natural, not taking anything.
Yeah, I think he was taking the Maldonium. He probably was looking to boost his performance, but like you said, all athletes, like with Floyd Mayweather, do you think he was really dehydrated? He took that IV to boost his performance. Guys, if you was that sick, you would have went to the emergency room. You trying to boost your motherfucking performance.
Look, people who have money are always going to have an advantage over a poor fighter.
Of course.
Like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's just as unfair for a guy with millions of dollars to have all these different advantages. You know what I mean? He gets massages. He gets. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is an advantage. He gets probably acupuncture. All these different things to help this fighter mentally, psychologically, and physically. And then you got a guy who eats cheeseburgers because that's all they can afford for their training camp. And then they need to be able to do something that's cost effective to be able to compete with the fighter who has all the best training,
exactly, the best promoters, the best trainers. You think they getting the same
no.
shit? Exactly. That's a great point. You got a motherfucker that's with Golden Boy or Al Heyman. They ain't getting the same treatment as a motherfucker with a no-name promoter, no-name trainer. Exactly. You made a great point with that. That's something to think about. So I think they just need to get the fight, man. I want to see the fight Wilder against Povetkin. I personally think Wilder would win the fight, but I just want to see the fight. Hell with all this suing shit, this meldonium. I don't give a shit about this, man. I want to see the fight. I want to see who's gonna win this fight.
Yeah, I used to be a Wilder fan, but now I'm turning away from him because he's beginning to be a magnet for a lot of racists and a lot of different things. You know what I mean?
And I heard they say somebody said that Wilder fighting Joshua would be a cherry pick. Who said that, or that's some shit somebody just made up? Did somebody actually say that?
I think it'll be a while before he fights Wilder.
Yeah, because they both got to take care of their mandatories. And I saw the odds. They got Joshua actually a minus 250 favorite if he ever fought Wilder. He's actually favorite.
Yeah, Joshua's the favorite.
Yeah, I think it's a cherry pick for Joshua. If you ask me, I think he ices Wilder.
It's gonna come down to who's got the better chin. And then if Joshua has a decent chin, he's definitely more skilled than Wilder. Wilder has, Wilder uses his reach. He's been doing that a little bit, but he gets wild at times. He's not as coordinated. He doesn't have he thinks that he has the speed. He probably thinks because he's a smaller guy, he's probably got a speed advantage.
Yeah.
But when he gets in with Joshua and realizes that he don't have a speed advantage and he's fighting a guy who's really bigger than him.
And Joshua can feint. Joshua gonna feint him. He's gonna feint him. Pop, pop. He ain't gonna be seeing them shots coming.
Yeah, it's skill, man. How much does Joshua weigh in at?
Joshua, I didn't even look at his last weight. I'm thinking probably 250, 245, something like that.
Yeah. He's bigger than Wilder. Wilder's at 230 pounds after he eats about 10 meals a day. You know what I mean? The guy really is in the 220-pounder range. You know.
And another thing people gotta understand, Joshua, he's been fighting undefeated fighter after undefeated fighter, 4 straight undefeated fighters. Deontay Wilder hasn't fought no fucking body. He hasn't even fought his mandatory yet. So when he see a guy like Joshua, that skill level, man, that shit is gonna be totally different. Some shit he ain't never seen before. He need to get past Povetkin first. Show us what you got against Povetkin before you call out Joshua.
Yeah.
That's
Wilder has power, we know he has power.
Oh yeah, he a beast. He got a lot of power. A lot of power. If he do catch Joshua now, he got some fucking power.
Yeah, but who have we seen that Wilder has fought and who's a big guy?
That's what I'm saying. The skill level of competition.
But I'm just saying.
Stavern, you might could say Stavern.
Let me ask you, who has he fought that's been a 6'5" guy, 6'6" guy?
The tallest guy, probably Spilka.
No, Spilka ain't no damn 6. What is he like? 6'3"?
I think Spilka's about 6 foot.
6'3". I'm just saying, we talk about Wilder's power, but he's a big guy. Has he fought anybody at his size so we can really a skilled fighter?
Yeah, because Wilder's about 6'7".
Huh?
Yeah, I say Wilder, he's about 6'7".
So that's what I'm saying. And then what is Joshua, 6'5" or 6'6"?
Joshua 6'6".
See what I'm saying? Like, we don't know how much power that Wilder has because he ain't fought nobody his own size. You see what I'm saying?
And his height. Yeah, you got a good point.
His height. And that makes a huge difference when you punching down on somebody versus punching up or punching straight to him.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah, so, hey, man, if he gets in there with, Tyson Fury and we find out, his power's a little overrated, you know what I mean? Or whoever. And what's up with that Tyson Fury? Did anything ever happen with that? I mean,
I'm thinking that Tyson Fury story, I think that was bullshit because of the organization that reported it. They're not really, how can I say this? Not really trustworthy, if you get my drift. Them motherfuckers, I think it was the Daily Mirror or some shit like that. I don't think you can trust them guys because they talking about doing a Klitschko fight in October. So if he was gonna get in trouble for some steroid use, I don't think they was gonna be doing no Klitschko fight in October.
yeah,
So I think that was a
yeah,
bunch of BS.
yeah. Because I hadn't heard anything much after that. I hadn't heard nothing lately.
Yeah, I ain't even heard no more about it. So
Yeah,
yeah, we was gonna talk about Lomachenko. I think he's highly underrated, man. I know you wanted to talk about Lomachenko.
yeah. I mean, I put out a video saying that I thought that Lomachenko was boring and I didn't really like his style, but you know, the last few fights, man, he's really impressed me a lot. You know, I mean, you know, just being able to be, you know, get in there and make adjustments and be aggressive. So I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of excited about Lomachenko now, more so than I was.
Yeah, he's
But you
moving
know,
up. He's moving up in weight, knocking motherfuckers the hell out. That's a bad man, Lomachenko. And I heard a lot of people comparing him to Floyd Mayweather at this
I
stage
think
of his
maybe that's
career.
what it is too, man. Is like when you start moving up in weight, man. You know what I mean? Like you get more knockouts. You know what I mean? Because the smaller guys, man, they're more technical, so you can take advantage of sometimes when you move up in weight. And there's more knockouts the higher you go up. So that may have something to do with it. But at the same time, he probably just adjusting to a pro style now. You know, instead of instead of the amateur, like he's adjusting to the pro style now. So
Especially as he gets more fights under his belt. At this stage of his career, how would you rate him to Floyd Mayweather at Mayweather stage?
um, man, see, Mayweather didn't have. I mean, he had some hype behind him, but I don't think he had as much hype as Lomachenko. You know, with it's with the whole
HBO?
Olympic thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and all the fights, all the amateur fights that Lomachenko had. So it's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to say. You know, I guess if you take into consideration that he lost his first one, but see, it's very confusing to fans who don't understand boxing because Lomachenko fought. You know, no one comes into the pros their first fight and fights a guy like you know what I mean, like
Fighting for a title, fighting Salido for a title. His
yeah,
first fight in. That's unheard
yeah,
of.
yeah. That don't happen, and I mean, you go back and look at who Mayweather first fought in his first fight. It ain't no comparison. Like, so I know Mayweather's gonna say, "Well, oh, Salido lost." You know what I mean? I mean,
You know that's his favorite excuse. He would have said, you got Salido problems, man. I can't fight you. Like he told Amir Khan, you got Danny Garcia problems. If they both was at 130 at this point in time, that's the same excuse he would have came up with. You lost to Salido, man. I ain't finna fight you. Like I said before. That's
Well,
what he would have came
I'll
up
tell
with.
you like this. I think Lomachenko, a featherweight version of Lomachenko beats a featherweight version of Mayweather.
Whoa, that's a bold prediction. You know they coming for you for that.
Hey, I call it like I see it. I mean,
That's a bold prediction.
who do you think? All right, I'll tell you what.
But give me like 5 more fights. I need 5 more fights from Lomachenko before I can say that. But that's bold though. You going on the limb, see? That's why they call you real talk. You going out on
Well,
that limb.
stylistically, man, I feel like everybody has somebody that can beat them. I don't care who you are. It's always somebody that can beat you.
Exactly.
And Mayweather's so successful, right? And he's never lost, according to some of these boxing fans. I mean, I don't agree with that, but according to his fans, he never lost. And well, then there's got to be at least one guy that could beat him. And Lomachenko has every boxing ability, every bit of his style is the style to beat Mayweather. You know what he can actually do in the ring. His ability to make adjustments, you know what I mean, is and to understand when to put pressure and to understand when not to put pressure is Lomachenko is very, very good at that,
And I think the speed, see Mayweather, he's a great defensive fighter. a guy with speed can give him problems. Like it's Judah. Judah gave him some problems that first fight. Pacquiao hurt him in the 4th round. See, if you got a little speed, you can get the Mayweather. See, Lomachenko got great foot movement and he got a little speed on him. So,
and he's fast, but he's a lot more. His ring IQ is a lot better than Zab Judah. So, I mean, I like that little move he does where he kind of gets around you and gets
with that pivot. Oh man, his pivot game. His pivot game is insane.
Hey, he don't wait for you to get out of position. He'll get around you and put you out of position.
Yeah, I'm like, how that motherfucker get to that spot? He right here. He all the way over there. He doing some fucking magic tricks in the ring. God, this motherfucking pivot game, that might be the best shit I ever seen, to be honest with you. The way he pivots, get to one side and get to the other motherfucking side quick. Whew, that's amazing.
It's like you're out of position, but it's not like you. It ain't like something you did. It's something he did that and then all of a sudden now you're out of position.
Yeah, and the amazing thing, he's not running to get to those spots. You have a lot of motherfuckers, they be boxing, they be running. That motherfucker do it off pivots. That's what I don't get, how he do that shit. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
I'll tell you another fight that's going to be really, really interesting, man. And I was kind of hesitant. I thought that Terrence Crawford would beat Postol. You know what I mean? I actually started looking at some videos of Postol, and that guy, he's got some punching power, and then I looked at The Wire's video?
Mm-hmm. The Wire, yeah. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I looked at his video, and he's picking Postol to beat Crawford.
Oh, is he? Wow. Yeah, I'm rolling with my boy Bud Crawford, but I'm terrified, man. I gotta admit, I'm terrified of this.